friends. Welcome to a bonus episode of That Sounds Fun. I'm your host, Annie F. Downs. I love being with y'all twice a week, so this is so fun for me. Listen, we are answering your questions today. If you are a business owner, an entrepreneur, if you're leading in some capacity, or if you want to be doing those things, this conversation is for you. Today, we're answering your questions that you sent in about business and leadership. So my COO, Ashley Warren, is joining me. We're going through all of the questions you've sent in over the past few months about our work here at AFD Inc. or the That Sounds Fun Network, or general questions about running a business or leading a team. Ashley is the best at leading a team, so you want to hear her advice. You guys love to talk to us about this, and you emailed us in some really great questions that Ashley compiled for us to go through. Ashley and I have done a few of these Q&A episodes over the years, and we love getting to do them. Plus, you're getting to hear her wisdom and brilliance that I get to work with every day. So you're in for a treat. I can't wait to hear what you think or what additional questions this episode may spark. Now, Ashley and I are not experts, but we've been doing this together for a while. So this is just our thoughts and opinions of what have worked here for us. But I would love to hear more of your thoughts after you listen. If you're following along in your TSF Seasons Guidebook, we are on page 86. As always, the guidebook is available for you at anniefdowns.com/seasons. You should grab that because the fall pages are coming soon. Okay, here is our business and leadership Q&A with me and the COO of AFD Inc., Ashley Warren.
That sounds fun.
Ashley, welcome back to That Sounds Fun.
Thanks for having me.
The question we're asking is this your Hall of Fun episode?
And we just can't remember.
Is
the truest answer.
For anyone who hasn't met you, or particularly in this context, will you say who you are and what you do here at AFD Inc.?
Sure. My name's Ashley Warren. I'm the COO, which stands for Chief Operating Officer at AFD Inc. And that means that I most specifically am charged with caring for the team and making sure that they have what they need and kind of being an extension of your leadership with them. And then most generally, it means whatever needs doing, I am here to support.
Yeah, it's amazing. You are incredible at your job. You also do HR.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have a bunch of HR questions that came in. So we're going through kind of a thing we don't get to do very much in this setting of talking through the business of AFD Inc.
Right.
We get to talk a lot about the ministry of AFD Inc., the impact of AFD Inc., the products of AFD Inc., but we don't spend a ton of time getting to talk about like how you make the sausage around here and the insides of the business of AFD Inc. And so over the last few months, people have sent us questions from YouTube and in the AFD Week in Review email. So do you want to just buzz through some of these?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Starting off with, we have amazing friends on the other side of our work, and y'all ask good questions.
Yeah, no kidding.
It was fun to go through these and think through, very honestly, I made predictions in my heart of what you were going to say.
I was about to say, you're going to say things too, aren't you?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, because you're an incredible leader, a business leader here
are very kind.
Elsewhere. But it is like, it is one of the best parts of this job is the team.
Yes, 100%.
Everyone who's around us.
100%.
Yeah. So we have all the questions kind of categorized.
True.
And we're going to go through them. You're going to ask them to me. I'll ask some to you.
Sure.
That are specific to your what you do here. But okay, so let's talk about questions our friends have about running a business, because we do run a business. I do want to be clear about that. Like, a lot of people talk about us running a ministry, and we are not a nonprofit. We're a for-profit corporation. We are an incorporated AFD Inc. And so we are a business first.
Right. So thought we'd start at the beginning.
Yes.
It's a very good place to start. We learned from Sound of Music. So a couple of friends asked similar questions. So just tell us the story. Like, how did you know it was time to start a business?
Yes.
And like, what's your origin story of business ownership? Because I am not a business owner.
Yes.
So only you can answer this.
For everyone listening, I own two businesses. I own AFD Inc. and I own the That Sounds Fun Network. I have a co-owner with the That Sounds Fun Network, but I am the sole owner of AFD Inc. And for me, I mean, when I started writing, a lot of this is in Let's All Be Brave. So people can go read Let's All Be Brave. But when I started writing and started speaking, at that point, it was kind of like, okay, I'm at my dining room table. I am making enough money that this is my only job. And after a little bit of time, I would bet so my first book came out August of 2012. I was only writing and speaking Now, I moved here in August of 2008. And so this was...
That's an important part.
That's an important part.
For people to hear.
I wrote my first book in 2006. It did not come out till 2012. I moved here in 2008 to pursue writing and speaking as a full-time job. It was not even a part-time job until... Well, it was never a part-time job. It went from not being my job, and I had to do 1,000 other things and got rejected constantly in the writing way, to 2012 when I got a book deal and an offer at the same time to be on a tour. And those two things, mostly the speaking and the merch at the speaking events every other weekend, were enough for me to have one salary to live off of in a very janky house with a roommate and not have an office. And so that's really, I mean... When would I determine it became a business? I mean, we were an LLC pretty quickly. I was, because I wanted accountability financially. I wanted other people to see what was happening with our money and where it was going. It is, as you well know, it is not my strength to care about what comes in and what goes out financially. And so I knew very early I needed someone else to manage that or to watch that with me. And so instead of just putting everything in my bank account, I started an LLC and put all the money in that and then took a salary.
Right. I love that. It's something I tell you a lot, but your humility to like know when to outsource, like when to ask for the right help is one of my favorite things to get to watch you as a leader do. And you've been doing it since the very beginning. Like, I need help here. Yeah. Let's because you're a person of such high accountability. Yeah. You developed that accountability through work.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Then that came naturally to you to ask for that help.
That's right.
Okay, so how does a person discover what it is that they have to market that will benefit others? And then, like, once you've determined that, how do you start the process of launching a business or service?
I think you pay attention to what people ask you for. Are people asking you for your advice? Are people asking if they can get coffee and sit down and talk to you and tell you their stories? Then have you thought about being a therapist? I say this to you a lot. Have you thought about being a counselor? Because everywhere we go, people tell you their entire story. And if people say, hey, will you teach me how to play soccer? Have you thought about coaching soccer? If so I think you need to pay attention to what the world is already asking for from you. And also, Emily Freeman says this a lot. Emily P. Freeman. She says, pay attention to what makes you cry. So what is it that's moving your emotions? What are other people doing that you think, I could do that and I think it would help a lot of people? And then how do you start doing it? Well, you just start doing it. You're probably already doing it. You just need to say, okay, instead of meeting with people all the time and them telling me their stories and me giving advice, I should apply to school to be a counselor.
Right.
Like you have to start to kind of go, to move from this is what the world already is asking me for to how do I get paid to do this is going to require some education, no matter what.
Yep.
I went to writers' conferences. I went to She Speaks, which is Lisa Turker's conference about writing and speaking. And at the time, it was also about blogging. And so you have to invest in your education to go from here's my idea and here's my product.
Love it. I love this question. Which came first for you, the desire to be a business owner, or was it the desire to be a creative?
To be a creative. Okay. I wanted to write, speak, and podcast, and then eventually podcast and blog. And I needed accountability, and therefore I got to be a business owner.
And then to be able to do it with the best hours of your day rather than as a side hustle.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
How did you determine the best hours of your day?
That's a great question.
My dad loves when people say that. You know that.
Mr. F. Downs, that was for you.
Yeah.
I mean, there is so much opportunity for self-leadership and self-discovery within business leadership where it is paying attention to, okay, when do I feel most focused? When do I feel alive? What type of work do I feel alive doing?
Yeah.
Like asking yourself those questions is not self-indulgent. That is wise.
That's right.
Because then...
Because of how you were built.
Then, when you understand better how you're built, then you get to say, well, the best hours of my day are... Yeah. And then you don't do meetings during those hours.
That's right.
By and large,
you can.
Yeah. We're not always exactly in charge of our own schedule, but I mean, for the most part, if you can build your day, build your rhythms, build your week as such, then...
I mean, it's one of the reasons we do 9 to 4 is we eat lunch together. So we don't... And people can go take lunches, but most days we eat 30 to 45 minutes together.
Together, yeah.
And we leave at 4. And we leave at 4 because from 3 to 5, we were all barely keeping our heads up. It was just like, these are not our best hours.
Yeah.
And so, and we wanted everyone, all of us like being outside.
True.
And
in daylight.
That's right. And in the winter in Nashville, daylight is gone by 4:30.
Right.
And so we determined we don't have to be here at 8. We all like having morning rhythms. We also don't have to be here till 5. And we don't have to take an hour lunch apart. There was a rhythm for us that kind of was our like AFD Inc.'s best working hours. And once we figured that out, 9 to 4, I think, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think our best working hours are 9 to 4 in the office Monday through Thursday. And whatever you need to get done and whatever hours you need to do on Friday, working from wherever you are is what. Now, mine's different because I travel for work more than y'all do. But 9 to 4 in the office Monday through Thursday, work where you want to work and get done what you need to get done on Fridays is helping our company be successful.
I agree. And we have a couple of team members who are part-time or are contract because the way that their lives work best balance-wise is that they work at the weirdest hours.
Yes.
When somebody's napping or when someone is caring for someone else in a way that frees up their time and then we, as the full-timers, don't necessarily need to manage those hours for our part-timers, nor do we
just deadlines.
Expect responsiveness during our working hours.
That's right.
We operate off of deadlines.
Yes, that's right.
And they're clearly communicated in advance. Yay.
Yes.
And so...
Because of you, thankfully.
Because of base camp.
I think this might be a good idea for us to take a break real quick and not a break, but and tell who our staff is.
Oh, sure.
So people kind of get an idea. Because they probably see on social media a lot of people.
Right.
So the That Sounds Fun Network has their own staff. We used to office together. They don't office here anymore, but they were always around. So it always looked, but That Sounds Fun Network has a totally separate staff, totally separate staff meeting days, totally separate company. AFD Inc., I'm full-time. You're full-time as a COO. Lillian's full-time as the CAO, Chief Annie Officer. Katie is full-time as the CCO, Chief Content Officer. She also runs Single Purpose League.
Right.
And then Johnny is a contract worker who does all of our podcast and video editing. Jenna is a contract worker who is our podcast manager. So she handles all the requests that comes in, helps schedule. Lillian does the exact scheduling, but Jenna helps that path.
Right. And then anything technical or logistical related to the podcast.
Yeah, that's right.
Getting into the world, Jenna handles.
Becca is contract doing our, and Stacy doing our
design work. And then Taylor Ann is our is our part-time mini BFF.
Yes.
Chief mini BFF officer.
That's right. Am I forgetting anybody?
No, that's everybody.
Yeah, that's it. Craig is our part-time when we need reels made.
Right. Whenever
we always want to find a way to hire Craig.
As often as we can, we're like, hey, Craig, you want to? Yeah. And he's like, yeah.
And this is probably a good point to say. I get a lot of DMs and a lot of messages asking if we're hiring, and we're not right now.
We're not.
We're not hiring because we're not building anything internally that we need to manage.
Right.
And in fact, we talked Monday at staff meeting about something we may build next year. And I thought, if we build that, I bet we hire someone to run that. But right now, because I'm going to be on tour all fall, there's actually less work than usual for y'all here in the office of things we are building ourselves.
Right.
And so, and we've seen the ebbs and flows of that because when we were doing Let's Read the Gospels every day, Mini BFF every week, and That Sounds Fun twice to 3 times a week, we needed Johnny full-time, we needed Craig full-time, and we needed Jenna full-time.
Right.
Or we needed a podcast manager. It's somebody in that seat full time. At the time, it was also Lillian, but we needed those 3 seats filled. And as our rhythms have changed of how we do Mini BFF and how we do Let's Read the Gospels, and even this is obviously twice a week for That Sounds Fun, it has adjusted what we needed.
Yes.
And because of God's kindness, it was people's lives also had an adjustment at the exact same time that our job. I would have never taken any of them part-time. We'd have paid them full-time and had them so
we would
bored.
have found we would have found ways to make full-time work where it
we just don't have
worked.
Right now. So
it worked for their lives.
Neither company, That Sounds Fun Network or AFD Inc. is hiring
right now. And then to our point earlier about some outsourcing, you do also work with a management team that is we have business management, so financial, but you also have an artist manager who their team helps negotiate contracts and get you in front of the right audiences in more strategic ways, and then handling any live events, marketing strategy. They operate in we call them hats or buckets. Like they're in that bucket for you.
That's really smart. So everyone we listed before, we pay a salary.
Right.
There's a whole other set of people that we work with that take a percent.
Right.
So I don't pay any of these people we're about to list. I don't pay them a salary. They just take a percent of the work they bring in to us for us to do.
Right.
So management, H Squared management, they take a percent of what we do. My business manager, who we just met with this morning, he handles all of our finances, pays everybody's salary. We do not have internal CPAs for the exact reason that we want accountability outside of our building. And so he handles all of that. He gets paid a percent. I have a literary agent who handles all book-related things. She gets paid a percent. I have a booking agent. He handles all my speaking events and gets us all the offers and handles all the logistics around that, and he gets a percent.
Right.
Is there anybody I'm forgetting?
No,
And then the publisher, whatever publisher we're working with, has a whole team as well.
And, and so it's incredible.
And That Sounds Fun Network, sorry.
Well, right.
And the network sells our ads, gives us community and education, so we partner with the network as well.
Totally. And that's, we work closely with all of those teams. It feels like they are all an extension of the work that AFD Inc. does.
That's right.
They do some driving in some ways.
That's right. It's good for people to imagine everyone we listed as a salary sits in our office.
Yep.
Everyone that takes a percent sits in their office and helps us. We are the hub of their wheel is their office, and they spoke out to a bunch of different artists. We are the hub of our wheel, and we spoke out to a bunch of different agents and partners.
Right. Love it.
Yeah.
It's good structure, clarity.
We also have a business coach.
Yes.
At times.
Yep. Everybody needs a coach, y'all.
Oh, man, everybody needs a coach. I'll tell you, in 2023 and 2024, our business coach saved us, saved our relationship, saved our company in some ways, saved us from making some bad decisions, saved us from, and helped us with when Craig was, everybody needs a coach, and he has so helped us so much. Yeah. Our relationship was not dying. But he just helped us understand each other.
Don't worry.
Yeah, don't worry. He just helped us understand each other in ways that we didn't, because he sat here as our coach and went like, wait, what she's saying and what you're saying. And it was really helpful.
What a gift.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, here's another question. How do you know it's worth the risk and hard work to strike out on your own instead of being an employee?
You can't know. That's all. You just can't know. Hence the word risk.
Yeah.
You can't know you won't be surprised if you say this. You can't know in business. You can't know in dating. You can't know in any area of your life if the risk is worth it. It is a risk. And the good news is, most often in business, and this is true when you move, the door does not lock behind you.
Yes.
When I had a teaching certificate so that I could go and teach school for years while I was still doing this job, I had to write up what would it be called, a renewed teaching certificate, because I can always get another job.
Right.
And so I had someone offer me a job last week.
Excuse me.
Yes. But it's not a job that it was you could do that. And I was like, I don't think I want to do that. And it was kind of like, you sure you don't want to do that? And that was the fullness of it. And I was like, no, I have it. Now, can we shut this down and me get a job? Yeah.
And what I know about our very excellent team, eminently employable.
That's exactly right.
Everybody's going to be fine.
Get a job doing something else.
Right.
I don't want to do that.
Right.
So the risk is always there. You never know you're totally making the right choice. There are things that make life so much easier if you will work for someone else. And there are things that make life so much easier when you work for yourself. And so JP says this a lot, John Pacluda says this a lot about dating. You're picking your problems.
Right.
And so if you own a business, you're picking your problems. If you decide to work for someone else's business, you're picking your problems.
100%.
And your joys.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What about... I feel for this question.
Yeah.
I just started my first business and it's lonely. How do you combat not being around people when it was just you? How did you?
Yeah.
And not spend thousands on coaching communities?
You have to spend thousands on coaching in communities. Yeah. Or share an office. My friend Adam Stunkel and I shared an office for 2 years. And it was we weren't both there every day, but it was fun that there was going to be someone to eat lunch with. Get in groups at your job. I mean, where you and I met was a group of women in 2012 that were all business-minded leaders at our church.
Yeah.
It was totally free. We just went to a group together. So there are free versions of that. Yeah. But also coaching groups are insanely helpful and are worth doing, I think. That's worth your money.
I agree.
Okay, just go work at a coffee shop. Go get a shared office. Go
co-working
to a WeWork.
spaces.
Yeah. That helps too.
Totally. Okay, moving to more like personal leadership, self-leadership, spiritual leadership types of questions. What mindset shift has had the biggest impact on how you lead and run your business?
Only do what you can do and hire people to do everything else. When I moved from it's my job to do everything to it's my job to do what I'm best at, the first window of time, we were just talking to our business manager about this, when my fourth book came out, Let's All Be Brave, I was traveling 2 to 3 weekends a month. I had 4 books out, and I still applied for a job at the parent-teacher store in Green Hills at the time to be able to pay my assistant. Because I was making enough for me, I was not making enough for both of us. And so you have to hustle. There is hustle involved in this, especially when you're getting the ball rolling.
Yeah.
So the biggest mind shift was, we will be best. We will make the most money and the most impact. Something we say around here a lot is we do not chase money. If you chase money, all you get is money. If you chase impact, you get impact and you often get money.
Yeah.
And that's what we go after. We want more impact and then God provides, and we work really hard to make the money we have so that everybody can have salaries and be generous in their lives. That being said, you have to change your mind about that you cannot do everything. You are not best at doing everything.
And what a gift then.
Yeah.
For the people that get to come around you and do what they're best at.
That's exactly right. Everybody gets to do what's best. Yeah.
Oh, love it. Okay. What's the most impactful strategic decision you've made so far, and how did it shape your path?
That was it. Hiring people to get into the seats of things that I wasn't best at. And the first 2 hires I made were percent people, so that I did not have to make extra money.
Right.
I just had to do really well at what I was already doing.
Yeah. Okay. How do you balance all the things and keep yourself healthy and sane?
You don't. It is every day. So Christy Wright talks about this a lot, that work-life balance is a myth.
It's a myth, right?
And so I think that helps. But people hear us say this a lot: work hard, pray hard, rest hard, play hard. We generally do not work after hours.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I have said from the start, we are not a hospital. We don't have emergencies. People may need something from us at 9 p.m. That does not mean they get it from us at 9 p.m.
Right.
It is about, you can correct my math, I think about once a month we have to do something after hours. And about one other time a month I have to reach out to y'all after hours for something to be fixed or done or repaired or posted. If, or something goes sideways with a podcast episode or something. Is that math seem about right?
Yeah,
once a month we're after hours. And
we're
once
just
a month
careful about it. And then I think God protects us too,
Yeah, because it's a high value to us.
It is.
I want your lives to flourish. And if I'm asking you to work 9 to 9, your lives aren't flourishing. Our company may flourish. We would have so much more money if we worked till 8 or worked till 6. If we were here 8 to 6, we would have a lot more money.
And that is not money. That's not our goal.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I want your lives to flourish. I want my life to flourish. And I want us to make a big impact. And so we are doing the tortoise and the hare. We are the tortoise. We are a tortoise company where we do the slow and steady thing for a really long time.
Yep. Okay. How do you protect your creativity when your work depends on it to pay the bills?
Boy, how much do we deal with that?
Right.
It is one of our constant conversations because no one else can write the books. No one else can speak on the stages. No one else can host the podcasts. I also have to have, writing a book is, I'm not exaggerating, Ashley. I think writing a book is 60% thinking.
Sure.
And so I have to, the couple of levels I have to deal with. One, I have to deal with the shame of, do people think I'm not working? But does my team think I'm not working?
No,
because
your
I'm thinking.
team never thinks you're not working.
I know. But when we have an entire writing day, if I don't have 10,000 words done at that day, but I thought all day, I did what I had to do.
You did the work. And
it's what no one else can do.
And nothing measurable
came of it. That's right. And so that's what we do. So one thing we learned maybe in 20 or 21, when did you start? 19?
19, yeah.
In 20 or 21, we learned, we were trying to give me half writing days and half in the office days, and that was not working.
Right.
Because just when my brain was getting good at thinking, I had to get dressed.
Right.
And so now we have full writing days. So when I was writing a book last fall, I would work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at the office or in office, whether I was in New York or Nashville. And then from Wednesday at 5 o'clock Eastern until Monday morning, I was supposed to write a book and take a day of rest.
Yes.
And y'all didn't care what came where.
Right.
And so sometimes Thursday, I was like, I don't have it to give. And I would play on Thursday and I'd write Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
And sometimes I would take Sunday and write Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And so that is evolving things. So and my life seasons affect it too. New York is different than Nashville.
Right.
And so for our friends listening who are creatives that are running businesses, you also need to release yourself that the rhythm you make in August of 2025 is not going to be the same rhythm that works with the next project or in January of 26.
Give yourself permission to experiment with it.
Yeah, that's right. And that's what we've had to do. And we have a good rhythm now, but it'll change.
Depending on what the next
That's exactly right.
thing
Our
is.
whole life changes this fall when I'm on tour with Kane.
Right.
We're changing the day I rest. We're changing the day we have staff meetings.
meeting. Yep.
I am never in the office hardly because I'm only here 3 days a week and one of those is a rest day.
Yeah.
It's just a whole different life this fall. Get your tickets at anniefdowns.com/events. Come to the show.
Come to
It's
the
gonna be
Kane
so
Live and in Color
fun.
tour. It's going to be great. Okay, so what are the rhythms you wish you would have implemented sooner?
Oh, what do I wish I would have implemented sooner? I think our team is really thriving with the Friday work from home day or work from wherever. I think I wish we'd have done that a little bit sooner. That's this year.
This
I
year,
think.
exactly. Yeah.
And I think we'd have benefited from that, but not in like a profound way. Like I don't
Sure.
feel like, oh, we suffered or but I think that's really been a gift to the team.
Yeah.
And to me. I like it. That's the one that comes to my mind.
Okay. What does generosity look like in your business model?
I want to make sure y'all get paid so that you can be generous. That matters to
Thank
me.
you.
There are 2 or 3 churches that do not pay me to speak, that it is part of my rhythms that I teach there because it's how I can serve the local church, and serving the local church really matters to me, and getting to serve in my gifts. And I can't work in the nursery and I can't be on a rota for greeting, but I can teach a couple times a year. So that's generosity to me. Giving in your gifts is generous. And so I like being able to do that. And then I like buying lunch as much as I can for everybody. We've had to back down to stay on budget, and because our business manager's like, stop doing that all the time. I like our team to feel like if someone forgot their lunch, I bet I could ask Annie if we could order in today, and we will. What do you think generosity looks like from our company?
All of those things you just said. You also are just you're generous with your friendship in business-minded ways. Even the invitations to people being on the podcast are generous, in that people don't get paid to come on the podcast.
Yeah, that's right.
But your friends respond to the people, to the conversations that we get to
we
have.
We don't pay for guests, and guests don't pay to be on.
Right.
Yeah.
And so there's, in some ways, the model of the podcast is a generous give and take both ways. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I love when my friends become friends with my friends.
Yeah.
So that's an easy yes for me.
And then I also think about just the little or not little surprise and delight. You love to give gifts. And so there's always if we're working with someone new, we want to make sure they know a good taste of Nashville or a good taste of New York.
Or if someone says something fun that we can send them, we do.
Yes.
Yeah.
So those that aren't necessarily regular.
Yeah, they're not scheduled regular.
They are intentional.
Yeah, that's right. You never lose being generous.
Ever.
Scripture says that God will be generous to generous people. And you just never lose being generous. I would rather us worry about money at the end of the month and have been generous than have enough in the bank, more than we need in the bank, and have not been able to be kind to people.
Yeah.
So,
this is a generous question.
Okay.
Any thoughts on how I can best serve my visionary friends? What makes your shoulders drop and relieve some of the weight of leading a company?
I mean, today I'd say you can't do that for other people. It is very hard. I mean, my friends outside of work, y'all do this too, but that's why we eat lunch together. It's one of our play hard rhythms that every year when we meet as a team and do our planning for the next year, you go through our vision and our mission. And one of the things you say is we eat lunch together.
Yeah.
We eat lunch together, and we have our phones, but we put them down, and we
stop working.
We stop working. And
we ask each other questions about
that's right.
the things we know that are going on outside
That's right. So that helps when
Yeah.
when in work or out of work, when people talk about other things besides work. I went to dinner last night to celebrate another business owner. And right when we got there, I had all these what's your vision for the next year? What's your da-da-da? And as we were saying, they said, okay, they went around the circle. They said, you're not going to have to talk about this. You're not going to have to talk about this. You're not going to, and then they pointed to her and shit, and you don't have to talk about the business. And I was like, oh, that's what I was thrilled to hear her talk about her business. So I think giving visionary space to talk about something else is helpful.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I love that.
Okay, now back to our conversation.
That sounds fun.
Okay, so how do you make decisions when your heart and your head are pulling in different directions?
Ask other people.
Okay.
We've learned this the hard way a couple of times. One really profound time. And so what I do is, that's why we have each other. That's why I have y'all. Is if I get a ping that my heart and my head are not in the same alignment, then I call you, I call Kelli, our manager. There are people. And also I think it's important to say that in an organization that's multi-leveled like we are, not everyone has the same level voice.
Certainly.
And gets to know the same amount of stuff. And so when my head and my heart are pulled, there are times where around the lunch table, we'll talk about it. And there's times where I call you.
Right.
And so there is different need. I need things differently from different people on the staff. So that's how you do it. Get other people involved. Don't make the decision by yourself anytime you feel that.
Love it. Okay, I'm gonna change up the order a little bit here and ask you a good news, bad news set of questions. Okay, what's the best decision you made that felt bananas at the time?
Getting this office. Yeah.
Because why?
So Jenna and I, at the time, Jenna, who's now our podcast manager, was my executive assistant, my chief Annie officer. And we had visited 3 or 4 different ones. It was just me and her. And what we were looking for was a podcast studio and an office for me with the door that closed, because I had to write a book. And we came in here and it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 offices and a main room and a kitchen. And we walked in and we're like, what would we ever, we will never feel this. And we feel this. And we both knew it was the Lord. We both knew it was a yes from the Lord. And so this was very, if you build it, they will come. We knew we had the studio we wanted here, and I had an office. And then we had someone who rented one of our offices. This room, this wallpaper that our friends watching on YouTube or Spotify can see was put in by the woman who was renting this office.
The office, right.
And so we just loved it. So
it's gorgeous.
That's exactly right. So that was the most bananas decision, was getting an office that had 3 offices we didn't need.
And then the bad news question.
Yep.
What's the hardest thing you've ever had to go through as a business owner?
When my head and my heart didn't match. Because what happened is I made a decision that affected all of us pretty profoundly for a while. And I made a decision. It affected us. All of us had to be involved in the repair of the situation. And I had to repair trust with our whole team.
Yeah.
And so we fixed the immediate problem that was public. And then it took a few months before it was fixed behind the scenes for us, where I had regained the level of trust with y'all that I was trustworthy to be a public person and not make all heart decisions. And I was also very tired at the time.
Yeah.
And so
there were opportunities there too for us as your team to re-earn your trust, because the load was, like you said, causing you to be tired, and that takes its toll.
Yeah. I was tired in my personal life and in my public life. I was really tired and grieving. I made a public decision that y'all didn't agree with, but had to clean up. And so it took a lot of...
Hear me say, this was not catastrophic or moral.
No.
It was just
a... Oh, yeah, good call. It wasn't a moral...
You're making it sound a little more...
Sorry. No. It was just a... Yeah.
It was not a thing that created, failure. Yeah, Lord, it was a thing that created a couple of ripples that we did have to clean up.
Yeah, that's right.
But it was not quite
But also, what a profoundly good lesson I learned.
Yes.
And we all learned.
Yeah.
And a version of that will happen again, whether I cause it or not. A public thing will happen again. And we have muscles we didn't have before. We have thicker skin. I genuinely think 2 or 3 things have happened since then that could have had that response in my body. But we had the muscles.
Yep.
And we have thicker skin. And we have better understanding of our mission and vision. Mm-hmm. And so they did not hurt the way that one. I mean, and then after that, a thing you did that I think is really profound is you had our graphic designer write up our mission statement and design it beautifully. And you framed it and hung it on my wall. And you said, everything we do happens under, because that's what happened is I went outside the mission. And everything we do happens under that mission.
Right.
And that helped me a lot. So it was absolutely the worst professional experience of my life. And it was very profoundly important.
We learned. Yeah. We learned a lot. Okay, how do you determine priorities between productive activities? Like, all of these opportunities are in front of us, and they all move things forward.
Team.
Okay.
Yeah. And my calendar. Lillian manages my calendar. I sit down every Friday and write the whole next week into my simplified planner and can see exactly what I'm doing the next week. And then I can go, oh, I also wanted to, or if I also wanted to, or, oh, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to have space for that this week. And then we work it out on Monday.
Yeah. Yeah. And we, again, give yourself permission to experiment. We, about a year ago, started trying to organize your week so that your mental energy was all headed in the same direction during each day. So we call them one hat days, where she is wearing one hat as much as possible.
As much as possible. Mondays, I'm a business owner.
Right.
And we are doing AFD Inc. meetings. We are in meetings all day Monday, and I love a meeting. Tuesdays, I am either recording a podcast or I am in That Sounds Fun network meetings. So we have a lot of network stuff. So I'm still a business owner on Tuesdays, but for a different business. Wednesdays, we try to record the podcast. Thursdays and Fridays, I try to write or travel. And so you're right. We have one hat days have really helped us. Okay, Ash. So let me turn some of these on you because we have a stack of HR questions and you are actually HR. I'll answer the first one.
Yes.
When did you know it was time to hire an employee? It is time to hire an employee. It always is. Any way that, even if it's someone who can intern for you for free and you give them college credit, or if you can pay someone to do 5 hours for you just to make sure your email stays clean.
Right. Yeah. It's what are you doing that you hate, or what are you doing that is draining the life out of you?
That's right.
Give it to them for 5 hours a week.
That's exactly right. That's when I hired Chad Michael Snavely from Sound On, Sound Off to edit my podcast.
Not because you hated it, but because it was draining the life out of you.
I couldn't do it. Yeah, that's right. The first, second, and third hire I made is another question we got. The first hire it's all assistants. It was all in an assistant role and a tour manager kind of role. But the first partner I got was a business manager, Brian, who still to this day, he is probably the most trusted person in my career, only because he's been here the entire time and he handles the money. Yeah. And he has been honest every single day. And so Brian, and then a booking agent that helped me with. So my first two, quote, hires were percent people who took the load off of me of managing the finances, then took the load off of me of managing the speaking requests that were coming in. And that left me to write and to go speak. And then I had an assistant to help me manage all of that.
Love it.
So, Ashley, what does our hiring process look like if someone is both a good fit and good culture for the company?
Well, our hiring process has often looked like, when we realize we have a need, we think about, well, who do we know who would be awesome at filling that need?
That's right.
And almost all of our team members who we have hired have been people one of us has worked with before.
Yeah, that's right.
And so
tangentially connected to someone. Yeah.
So knowing that they're a good fit for the role has come pretty naturally because we have seen them in work mode in a similar role.
Yes.
And how do we know if they were a good fit for the culture? Well, we knew their hearts already.
Yeah, that's right.
So that is
but Lillian was a stranger.
Well, that's what I was about to say. It's not a luxury that we have every time.
Yeah.
And so then the old adage is hire slow, fire fast. Take your time.
Yeah.
Get real clear on what you need, and not just the job description part of what you need, but what type of energy, what type of character, what type of attitude. All of those things contribute to culture in huge ways. And so then you ask experiential questions in interviews to get stories from people. You ask, tell me about a time when you...
Yeah.
And you're fishing for what attitude comes out when they talk about their previous employer. What, and then those types of culture fits become evident.
Yeah.
Also, pray your heart out about who is joining your team, because
the Lord already has them. That's what we say all the time.
He knows.
The Lord already knows. He already has that person.
And no matter how much time they actually work with us, every single individual changes the culture.
Yeah, that's right.
They do, and they can change it in great ways, or they can change it in challenging ways, and we get to pick that.
Yeah. We always also do like a 90-day, not like come work for 90 days and then we might fire you or not. But there's this like, hey, we think you're the right person for the fit. We're going to talk at 90 days and make sure you agree and we agree.
That it's mutual. Yeah.
And every time, almost before we get to 90 days, we go, you good? We're good. Let's run. There have been times where we get to 90 days or even before and we go, this is not a good fit.
Yeah.
And it's been mutually agreed upon most times.
Right. And that is, you've heard Annie say, a million times that clarity is kindness, like clear is kind, clear and kind. And so the sooner you move someone out of a position that's not working well for them or for the company, the sooner you are blessing them into their next best thing.
Yeah.
You know?
That's right.
And that is hard. Hear me say, that is hard. And it is good leadership.
We had one really sweet employee that did not work here.
Yeah.
And she is thriving where she is now.
And it is
I've had
beautiful
two
to
different
see.
people tell me how good she's doing at her role, and it is a totally different company than ours.
Yeah.
And so it was never her or us. It was not the right fit.
Right.
Okay, this is important. How, as an organization, can we make the time together meaningful and productive? I think that's good for you to answer, because I think for people to hear is one of the reasons you're such a gift to me is you care about stuff I do not care about.
True.
I care about vision. I care about running fast. I care about getting stuff done. You care about people. I like people. I do love people, but you have a deep care about the humans that we work with.
Right.
So that's one of the reasons you're so good in your role is I need the person right next to me to be caring about that so that I can run fast with vision and you can make sure I'm not bulldozing everyone. So how, as an organization, are we making time together meaningful and productive?
Well, you've already talked about our lunch times are pretty strategically arranged that way.
Yep.
That, again, we don't require people to stay here for lunch. If people have errands to run or if they want to catch up with a friend.
Tomorrow, my chiropractor appointment is during lunch.
It is, we do that. But we also just know that we enjoy time together and we have good personal conversations that keep us connected to the humanity on the other, in the working offices next to us.
Yes.
And it's sweet because now we know each other's weekly rhythms. So the place where Katie serves on Wednesdays, on Thursdays, we know we're going to get an update on what's going on there. And that is, it's evidence of flourishing in her life. And when we get to see that and support it as her coworkers, we're making time meaningful.
Yeah, that's right.
In staff meetings, almost always we are tactical.
Yes.
Almost always. But we spend 2 strategic times a year circling up around planning and circling up around who we are as a team and working together better.
Yeah.
And so sometimes that's Strengths Finder, sometimes that's Enneagram work, sometimes that's other wise coaching that is not an area that what do we do? Working Genius from Patrick Lencioni.
Yeah.
So there are great.
We also read Emotionally Healthy Spirituality.
We did. God, I love that book.
Yeah.
And so.
Also, I think that's important to say is we did a book club for years and now we don't.
And we don't do it anymore. Yeah.
I mean, it really worked.
It was good for that season.
It was really good for that season and we don't do it anymore. I have not thought about that in so long.
Oh.
We just quit doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't just quit doing it. We made a decision, but I forget. Yeah. Do you think business ownership is just for certain Enneagrams, or can we, or should we, or do we even want to all do it, but from different strengths? Can anybody own a business?
Yeah.
Yes. Agreed.
Any Enneagram type can.
That's exactly right.
Some will find it more natural than others. That's
and
okay.
Some will struggle. We're all going to struggle at different things.
Yep.
So, yeah, I agree. This friend of ours is considering a VA. Is that a good idea?
Well, first of all, VA stands for virtual assistant.
Yep.
And yes, it is if you need one.
That's exactly
They're
right.
great. I mean, technology makes the world so small.
Yeah.
We did not know prior to 2020 just how good remote work could be.
Yeah, that's right.
And it took us longer to adopt.
Yeah.
Even longer to have willingness to try it.
Yeah. That's because I have trust issues. But
Well,
that's different. That's a different reason. But yes.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. She also says, am I paying myself enough? And then in parentheses, probably no. Actually, I don't know. That's why you need someone else to be looking at show them your budget, show them what you're bringing in, let them tell you your salary.
Yep.
It will never hurt you to open a bank account and you put all your business money in it and you take a salary. It is such a better than here's all the money I have and I can live off of it.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
I give yearly. Is that enough? Well, I don't know.
I mean, that's a values question.
Yeah.
So determine what your generosity value is and then live in alignment with that.
Great. Good answer. Answer this, Ash. How do you charge what you're worth while balancing the fact that people always seem to want a favor?
I am legitimately terrible at this. I don't.
When people want to quote, pick your brain.
No. When I was working as a freelancer, invoicing was the most agonizing aspect of the role because I felt like I was hustling for my worth. I felt like I was having to convince people that it was terrible.
It's one of the reasons it's off my plate.
For me.
Yeah.
For me as an Ashley in the season I was in. So if there are 2 questions here, really. If people want a favor from you, You decide. You can say, I'd love to do a 45-minute coffee, and beyond that, I have coaching services available, and we can talk about my rates. So go ahead and set the expectation and the boundary up front.
Yeah.
Charging what you're worth is a math problem.
Yeah.
That is not a worth and value problem.
There you go.
So I would encourage kind of separating those two ideas first of all, and think about what services am I providing and what is a comparative rate for those services.
Yeah.
So take the worth out of it and apply the math.
And I would also say, if you're biblically based in your generosity, and God says to tithe 10%, if you are struggling with people wanting a favor for you, for every 9 jobs you do, you get paid for, do 1 for free.
Oh, I love that.
And that might scratch that itch where you go, hey, I would love to help you, but my rhythm is, and I've already done my coffee meeting I can do this month. If you want to meet in August, I have plenty of time to meet with you in August or September. Or, if you do 1 coffee a month where you help instead of get paid, just say, that's all you got.
That's what you got. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I love this question. Thinking about the team, what giftings are necessary for the team around the business owner?
Everything the business owner is not best at. That's what the team around you needs to be. You're not looking for a number 2 to you.
Say it again.
Yeah. You're just not looking for a number 2 to you. I am not looking for another Annie.
Right.
Now, if I was, let's use Lisa Turkhurst as an example, because what Lisa is building in Proverbs 31 is, I'm the president, and here are all these other speakers that I've endorsed and all these other authors I've endorsed. She is a franchise.
Right.
I read a book called E-Myth Revisited 15 years ago when I was building this company. And it said, well, I wasn't, what's the math of that? That'd have been 2010. So 13 years ago, I was building this company. And you have the choice to be a McDonald's or to be a local bakery. And the McDonald's is going to go everywhere and go on even after Jimmy McDonald died or whatever, right? Fox's Donut Den in Green Hills, when that owner dies, that is the only one. Now, someone else may take over, blah, blah, blah. I hear all the caveats. But I decided then I'm not a franchise. So I'm not looking for a number 2. AFD Inc. is going to die with me. That Sounds Fun Network is not.
Right.
It's a totally different company. And so the giftings of the people around me is I need everybody to be able to do everything I can't do best.
What does it look like to lead a team with kindness and excellence, Annie style?
Have an Ashley. Because I bring my thoughts on leadership and my plans on leadership to you, and you massage them and correct them and make them right. And then the next time when we're doing that thing, I already know the right answer. And so again, the theme of this, of how do you run a business, is you don't do it alone.
Yeah.
And so whether you pay someone or whether you have a coach or a mentor or whether you have an employee, a teammate, whatever it looks like, you are the best version of you. You are the most excellent version of you when you are being sharpened by other people.
How do you run your team meetings?
We have an agenda.
Yeah.
And we follow the agenda. When we get to the bottom, the meeting's over.
It's over.
Every single meeting, we have an agenda written down.
How do you deal with hard conversations about work performance?
Well, you and I usually talk about it first. If we notice it, if something goes, well, here's the real thing. We're all humans. Everybody makes mistakes. So every day when someone makes a mistake, I should have done that. Okay. No biggie. Right. So we keep short accounts. You say that a lot. We keep short accounts. We don't go, she messed up last week. She messed up the week before. She messed up the week before. We're like,
we're not keeping score about that.
No, not at all.
We're all here to help each other get better and get the job done the best we can.
And what a terrible place to work, to think every time I make a mistake, my boss is going to remember and write it down. And now, if it is every day you show up an hour late, that's a different conversation. But usually what happens...
But we're not waiting until your yearly review to talk to you about that.
No.
After it happens 3 days, we're keeping a short account about it. Hey,
exactly right.
Is something going on? And we're always asking a question. Like, let's honor the human enough to ask a question, and then let's address the behavior that needs addressing.
That's exactly right. So quick, short meeting. The sooner you notice it, the better. That is how you handle. You do not wait until there's a big problem or a long list.
Right. Okay, marketing and social media questions.
Okay.
We didn't get as many of these as I thought we would. But, okay, I've struggled with marketing and figuring what problems I can help people with and serve them to grow my Instagram and email list. Basically, I'm having a hard time narrowing down my ICA. I don't know what that means.
I don't either.
I looked it up. I couldn't find it.
Okay, cool. Here's my answer to her. This is the same at the beginning. If you can't figure out what problems you are helping people solve, either go to StoryBrand, hire a story brand coach, get them to help you work through everything. Or you may be paying attention to the wrong thing. You may be looking for red cars and nobody owns red cars. And so it may be worth backing up and sitting down with a mentor or a friend and kind of talking through what you're really called to, because that you may not.
You may have a different problem to
that's right.
help with.
That's right. And if you're doing it to grow your Instagram and your email list, you're probably not doing it. It's probably is harder to find.
Sure.
Because if you're busy worrying about growing, you're not probably busy worrying about helping like you think you are. Oh, sorry.
Okay, how do you have help? Yep.
ICA is a ideal client avatar, so it's like our Hannah Clara.
Oh, Johnny, leave that in. Thank you, Lillian. Okay, your ICA is your
ideal client
avatar, which we do have 3. And so I think it sounds like this friend who has this question, she's having a hard time narrowing down who she serves.
Yes.
You need to get some help. You need someone else to step in and help you.
That sounds fun.
And now back to finish up this Q&A of your business and leadership questions.
That sounds fun.
How do you have healthy boundaries around Instagram while also growing it to reach more people, to grow your audience and serve them?
This changes for me over and over. This is a constant learning and growing. We just came off of summer Sabbath where I don't have it for a whole month. So I'm still in the, I don't need it. I don't miss it. I don't want it. My life is busy enough. There's enough going on. I don't want to use my time that way. The biggest thing I would say is don't focus on anything that is rented space. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. What we saw with Vine 10 years ago.
Ugh.
I know. What we saw with Vine is these people got very famous on Vine, and in a day they turned the lights off, and those people lost everything. That's right. So don't focus on growing your anything social. Focus on growing what you can own, which is people's email addresses. So as much as you can. And the way you actually can help people the most is getting into their email.
Yeah.
And sending them actual words. Again, I'm going to go to Emily P. Freeman. Emily P. Freeman, Jonathan Merritt, Shannon Martin. I'm trying to think through who I read all the time. Their newsletters I read all the time.
Yep.
And so, and Substacks, there are some Substacks
Sarah
I read all
Bessie.
the time.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, so I think it's important to focus on building in a place that you own.
Mm-hmm.
You want to invite people to the house that you own, not invite people to the park that you've rented, because if the weather changes, the party doesn't happen.
Love it. Okay, transitioning to talking about like resources and support for our leadership.
Yes.
Any advice or resources you would suggest on leadership or leading a
You're
team?
better at this. What would you tell people to read and to do around leadership? I mean, you have to be healthy as a you.
Yeah.
So the first thing I'd say is you need to read whatever you need to be as healthy as you can be, because the healthier the leader is, the healthier the company
Yeah.
is.
So some of those for me have been, we mentioned earlier, emotionally healthy spirituality. There's also an emotionally healthy leader.
Yeah.
Pete Scazzaro. The person who started the group you referenced earlier for us when we were young female
my
leaders,
gosh.
Jenny Catron,
Jenny
has
Catron with
a
Foresight.
leadership company called Foresight. And
We could not more highly recommend. If you need help leading, call Jenny Catron. Go to Foresight. It's the number 4 SIGHT.
Then I Patrick Lencioni is a voice that I've paid attention to for years. I listen to leadership podcasts.
Yeah.
Do you have
love
any?
Carrie Newhoff's.
Yeah,
But
Carrie's
that's particularly for church. But
Right.
I really, I like his. I listen to a couple of business ones.
right that are not faith based, and
That's right.
And it's honestly that's helpful in even just paying attention to trends that are outside of the more insular space that we're
That's right.
in.
That's right.
I love this question.
Okay.
How'd you get so smart about things?
Oh, jeez.
Are you watching or reading or praying or naturally gifted? How can we get wiser as business owners? Even I'm curious, as a non-trained business person, like I didn't study it in college, or you didn't study it in college.
Yeah.
How'd you learn about business skills?
Part is reading and learning. Seth Godin is somebody I read everything. I mean, yeah. So reading and learning. And also, scripture says in the book of James, I believe, that if you ask for wisdom, God will give it generously.
Yeah.
And I ask every day for wisdom. Does that mean that I do it perfectly? No. Does that mean I catch everything? No. Does that mean I don't ever get deceived? No. But what it means is that I am trying to get wiser every day. And also, we have the mind of Christ. If you are walking with Jesus, you have the mind of Christ. And that isn't just about purity and not lusting. That is about Jesus was a good person in community.
It's about decision making.
It's about decision making.
Yeah.
It's about where are you? What are you letting interrupt you? When are you pulling away? Jesus's brain was the best brain that's ever been on this planet. And we have the mind of Christ.
We have access to it.
And so ask for the mind of Christ and ask for wisdom every single day. Ask God to give you wisdom.
Who are female role models for you? Business savvy is not gender specific, but the way we experience or walk through certain challenges is sometimes unique to us.
Yeah. There's a woman that used to be the COO or the CEO maybe of Barstool Sports. I watch her. I think she's interesting. She ran a massive company with a ton of problems. So I think she's really interesting to watch. Beth Moore is someone that I watch because she built a thing. There aren't a lot of people who write books like us who do the work that I do that have a company shaped like our company.
Yes,
And so our company is more shaped like some other types of businesses. And so I watch some of those kind of leaders. But Beth has a similar to this where she has a lot of women in her office that work with her and make other things. And so I've watched her lead. Bianca Juarez comes to mind. Jenny Catron for sure. I'm trying to think who else I think. I mean, to some extent, Gwyneth Paltrow with Goop. I think she's very fascinating to watch as a business owner. I watched the Popcast. I think
we learn a ton from them.
I learn a ton from them. I love how much they honor their staff and how much they thank their listeners for providing for their lives. So I learn a lot from watching them. Who else? Who am I not thinking of? Or who do we watch? Oh, Joe Saxton. I love watching.
Yeah.
Sharon Hottie Miller.
Who's the marketing gal that we learn from? Amy.
Oh, Amy Porterfield.
Amy Porterfield.
Jenna Kutcher. Yeah, for sure. I follow both of them.
And who's this Banks lady?
Yep. I don't know. Sarah.
Why can't I think of her name?
Yes.
We don't have our phones with us. Anyway, I think she's fascinating.
Yeah.
Sarah Blakely.
Blakely. There you go. Yeah.
Wait, y'all made people run up that hill?
Yeah,
that's so cool.
Right. There's a lot of dudes too, but this person specifically asked for female role models. But yeah, there's a lot of people you can watch. And remember, I didn't tell this part yet, but when I was building this company and when I was building my career, there weren't other authors in Nashville doing it like I was doing it. They wanted to be at home and be with their kids, and they wanted to write one book every 3 years, and this wasn't their job. They had a second income in their home. So I was watching country music artists. And what I was watching, particularly with Lady A, is I was saying, Dave, Hillary, and Charles are only doing what they do best. They are writing and singing. And they are paying people to do everything else. So also, you don't have to look in your industry, just look in your lane. And while they are significantly farther down the lane than me in anything professional success-wise as the world would deem success, I have watched how they did it. And I went, oh, I like that. I like that they've made a world where they're only doing what they do. Now, do they go into the office 3 to 4 days a week? No, they don't. I do that. And so that's when I'm looking at other people like the woman, Erica, who runs Barstool, that goes into an office. So,
Yeah.
Or she used to run Barstool. She doesn't anymore.
Okay.
Last section.
Yeah, last section.
Here
so
we go.
moving on to kind of questions about success and failure and about staying connected to your why. What's one part of running a business that you still don't feel totally confident in?
Money. I'm just keeping up with it, knowing, I mean, I am, it is so hard for me to keep up with budgets and P&Ls, and that's my brain does not work like that. And so thanks be to God, yours does. And I've brought you into all those meetings, and Brian, our business manager, is brilliant. His team is brilliant. So where
Kelli,
I am
your
weak,
manager, is
Kelli
also
is brilliant. Jamie's brilliant.
Right.
Jamie makes a better budget, who works at KCH. She
makes
an
and
incredible
follows the budget
That's
better than
exactly
anybody
right.
I've ever seen.
That's exactly right.
Okay, what failures have you endured as a business owner? How did you pivot and learn from them?
Well, I think it's really important to define what success and failure is, because there are times we have released 13 books and one has hit New York Times. Does that mean 12 were failures? No. And that one hit New York Times once. So does that mean every other week of that book's life was a failure? No. So we have been disappointed by not having our expectations met more than we've failed. For me, a failure is a staff member leaving over their experience here. We've had that happen at one of our companies once.
Yeah.
And that was a failure to me. A failure to me is when I am not on mission. That's happened. And that was a failure to me. That's how I define failure versus how many books sold, how many people listen to a podcast, how many tickets sold. That's where we have to separate what is my expectation and what do I hope and what is actual success. Do you agree with that or disagree?
No, I totally agree with it. I am thinking that if I'm one of the listeners, I want to know what the mission is. When we say we're not. And so just to backtrack a little bit, the mission. I'm going to say a thing. We have on the wall in Annie's office a piece of art that says Annie F. Downs exists too.
Yeah.
Now, we do distinguish in some ways between Annie F. Downs and Annie Downs. Annie F. Downs is the public-facing person representative of this company, and Annie Downs gets to be a total private human.
That's exactly right. I have a total private life that is not public.
And that's really important to us for your protection and health, and for us to remember that we don't get to drive you into the ground for the benefit of the company.
That's right.
Because we care about Annie Downs too.
Yeah.
At the same time, Annie F. Downs exists to bridge spiritually curious people to voices and resources that will encourage them in their spiritual journey.
Yeah, that's right.
And so we go back to that language a ton
That
about
we're a bridge.
we're bridging.
Yes.
And so who are we bridging people to? Is this a voice or a resource that eventually is going to hopefully open up some of the spiritual curiosity and get them to Jesus?
When people say to me in public, I have bought so many books this year. I cannot believe how many books. Like whenever they say, I started listening to that podcast. I started listening to that pastor. I started watching that show. I started reading that book. I started listening to that music. I started following that person. That means we've succeeded.
Right.
If someone stops with me and never is friends with any of the friends we introduce, then that is failure for us. We are a bridge. You don't stay. You can stand on a bridge for a few minutes. You don't live on a bridge. You move on.
And to be completely transparent, the products that we produce are things we want to bridge people to as well.
That's right.
You as an Annie are not the destination, but we create things.
Yes.
You create things that we do want to bridge people to these books.
Let's Read the Gospels is the perfect example of we wanted to keep creating things like the journal, the podcast, that bridge people to the Gospels.
Yes.
Yes, that's exactly right. Now, that is a product we made. That is our product, and it is a bridge.
Right.
Same with all the books. All the books I write are telling my stories, and we hope it bridges you to something with God or something of growth in your own life.
Right.
Single Purpose League exists to bridge people to a healthier life where they are more on purpose than they've ever realized, and maybe healthier in mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, relational. So.
Yep. Okay. How do you remove the feeling of shame and failure?
Define success correctly.
Okay. And then be willing to learn from it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Because we're all humans.
Yeah, because the employee that left because of their experience, we learned a lot from that. And of course, I felt shame. I felt shame over things I felt guilt over not handling things better. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's good to learn from, to go like, man, I never want this to happen again. So here's what we're putting in place right now so this never happens again.
This question makes me smile. Have you ever thought, or do you ever consider that having a normal job may be easier? What keeps you going? Does that ever go away?
I promise you, having a normal job would be easier.
Of course it would.
There are 1,000
My
things.
job is easier than your job.
Yeah, well, and there are other people in our company's jobs who are easier than your job. And yet, people who are called to what we would label an easier job, because they are called there, it is harder for them. A surgeon is not an easier job than my job. I can't imagine doing it. It's easy for a surgeon some days.
Yeah.
And also, it's also the question of how do you get inspired to write? I'm like, does a surgeon have to wait to be inspired to do their job? No. I don't get to wait till I feel like recording a podcast to record a podcast, or until I feel like speaking on a stage. If it is 7 p.m. and I'm on 7:10, I better be ready. I don't get to wait on inspiration. And so to me, when it comes to that, this is a normal job.
Yeah.
It's the same sentence, Ash, of when people say, when you have your dream job, you never work a day in your life. Give me a break.
Nope.
I've never worked harder.
Yeah.
I've never worked harder, and I'm in my dream job. And so
working hard is not the enemy.
That's exactly right. So a normal job, this is a normal job. It has some unique aspects to it, but there are certainly easier jobs and there are certainly harder jobs than the one I have. What keeps me going is we are on mission.
Yeah.
I'm called to this. I'm not retiring from this. I may retire from this job. I'm not retiring from bridging people to content and creators that make them feel seen, loved, and expose them to Jesus. I will do that. I do that on the subway. If someone likes the book I'm reading, I hand it to them.
Right.
I'm a bridge. That is an Annie thing. And so I won't retire from my mission. I may someday retire from the job.
Ooh, what would have needed to be true for you to say no to business ownership?
Nobody wanting the work that I make.
Okay.
If a day ever comes where people stop wanting the thing we make, we either pivot and make something different. We've done that before with Mini BFF. We have changed how Mini BFF works because people weren't needing what we were offering. In a world where all together that stopped,
Okay.
that'd be a no. The other no is if I am morally unable to lead this company, which I work my tail feathers off to make
you
sure
do.
that I am not morally unable to lead this company. That's the other no that comes to business ownership is if I am not the leader that, if my character cannot hold this company doesn't exist anymore.
Okay. What is the thing that has surprised you the most about owning a business?
The thing that has surprised me the most about owning this business or either business, there's just always a problem to solve. It's just, there's always something to solve.
Yeah.
For us right now, we have just to peel behind the curtain for AFD Inc. The problem we have to solve is we don't have a defined future. We are going to have a job for forever. We have historically known exactly what we are doing the next 2 to 3 years. And we don't have that right now. We have new things that are working that if they work, they really work and change our lives. We have new books. We have new ideas for the podcast in 2026. And we have new opportunities to go speak in places next year that I've never spoken at before and some that I have. We just don't. So a problem we're currently solving, which is a great problem, is like, how do we sit in the tension of not knowing the future, but build what we want to build right now?
Yeah.
That Sounds Fun Network has an entirely different set of problems.
Of course.
And there are times where the problems there ramp up and here they're quiet, or there are times where our problems here ramp up and there it's quiet. But I had no idea there would always be a problem to solve.
Okay. Last question.
Okay.
If you could go back and hand 2012 Annie at the beginning of it all,
Yeah.
a post-it note of encouragement, what would it say?
What would I tell 2012 Annie? I would say this is not all up and to the right, and it's not supposed to be. I think financial, relational, spiritual, professional should be like, well, once you're doing it, it should only be good and get better.
Yeah.
And that's not the shape of anything. That's not how seasons work. Welcome to the fall, or we're going from summer to fall. That's not how seasons work. That's not how the earth works. That's not how relationships work. That's not how our bodies work.
Yeah.
And so I thought I need to tell her, you are still on the right path, even if the path isn't up and to the right and looking like you're going from glory to glory. I kind of thought we'd go from glory to glory, and we have not. 2023 was a very hard year for us professionally.
Yeah, it was.
And I didn't know that was coming. And so I would tell her, don't expect it to just be successful in the way you have deemed success, and buckle up. What would you tell? You started in 2019. What would you tell 2019 Ashley in 2025? That's such a long time you've worked here. Thank you.
Oh, I love working here. Thanks for having
I love
me.
you working here.
Thanks for having me. I had a nice time.
Yeah, there you go.
This is an Ashley-shaped answer, but it's an Ashley-shaped question. Just you've got what it takes.
Yeah.
And or you can find what you need.
Yeah, that's
you
right.
know, like
even you've got what it takes is you've got the resources to know what you don't know.
Yes, yeah. Not that you're going to be good at everything, but you've got what it takes, or you can find what you need to lead in the way that Annie's asking and that the team needs.
Yeah. You're amazing at it.
Well,
you're an amazing leader.
I before I came to work here, I prayed for a spacious place. There's a scripture that talks about God leading us to a spacious place because He delights in us.
Yeah.
And you invited me into that. It feels spacious every day.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make it mean that it's easy every day.
That's right.
But it feels like there is space for me here, and that is a gift that I didn't even know exactly how to imagine.
Yeah.
So the way you lead creates an environment for people to flourish, both for those of us who work with you, but for the people on the other side of our work too. It's such a gift, Annie.
I am very sure the Lord has reminded me. The thing He is going to ask me when I'm standing in front of him is not how many books sold, how many people listen to the podcast, how many DMs did you get of people happy with you, how many famous people did you get to meet? It is absolutely going to be how were the people that worked for you stewarded, and how did you steward the resources I handed you, whether that's human, financial, the friends on the other side of the work we do, the audience. How did I steward what was handed to me? And so all that is great. I want books to sell. I want people to hear the podcast. Meeting famous people is fun sometimes. All that is fun and cool. What actually matters is, are people flourishing? Because I'm stewarding well, and I don't always do it, but I try. Yeah. So thanks for doing this.
Thanks for having me.
I love working with you.
Likewise.
I love working here. This is the best company I've ever worked for.
Oh.
So I'm so grateful.
I don't want to be hurtful to the people I've worked for before. I can't do it.
Yeah, that's fair. I've only worked for schools before. Loved them. But
I've loved all my jobs in different ways, and I really love this one now.
Thank you very much. Okay, that was so fun. I'm telling y'all, isn't Ashley brilliant? I know. All right, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Maybe you have advice to share to some of these questions or new questions that have popped up. Just head over to That Sounds Fun podcast on Instagram. Tell us what you think over there. If you enjoyed this episode, I think you'll really love episode 891 on leadership with David Novak. He is so brilliant. Or our episode on business coaching with Chris Weinberg and my manager, Kelli Haywood. We have linked both of those in the show notes below. If you got any questions from this episode, you can drop them in the Q&A box on your Spotify app if you're a Spotify listener like me, or send them to us on Instagram at That Sounds Fun Podcast. We'll try to answer them there for you. If you need anything else from me, you know I'm embarrassingly easy to find. Annie F. Downs on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, anywhere you may need me. That's how you can find me. I think that's it for me today, friends. Go out or stay home and do something that sounds fun to you, and I will do the same. Listen, today what sounds fun to me is a weekend in Nashville. This is one of my last weekends in Nashville before I go out on tour with Kane this fall. We'll see you out there, right? You've got your tickets to the Kane show. It's going to be awesome. 40 of them, you guys. There's 40 of them. So I'm going to enjoy a weekend at home. Y'all have a great weekend, and we will see you back here on Monday.
That sounds fun. That sounds fun. Oh, that sounds fun. Check 1, 2 on the microphone. Annie F. Downs in your car to your home. Every week it's something new. A deep talk or an interview. She'll make you laugh, she'll make you cry. When it's dark out, she's a light. When you're down, get you feeling right. Oh man, that sounds fun. That sounds fun. That sounds fun. Oh, that sounds fun.